We have with us today Pocket Vinyl, a rather extraordinary conceptual art pop act. Is that fair to say? Art pop? I like that.
You could say whatever you like.
All right. Well, that's Eric on piano, and behind me is Elizabeth. And her instrument, so to speak, is the canvas. So if you are not familiar with Pocket Vinyl, while Eric plays, his better half paints. Elizabeth paints. She does it when the show's over, the painting's over. They auction the painting. It's an awesome concept, and it actually works musically and visually quite well. We're glad to have them today because they're celebrating the release of their latest album, Death Anxiety, and it's an amazing coincidence that we're here in the Telegraph in New London because the label is the Telegraph recording label. So that's sort of cool. But anyway, here they are, Pocket Vinyl.
Thank you. This is fun. This is the second time we've done this, but last time it was in a little room with that was much smaller than the setup we have here. So, hello everybody. There's like people here. Hey guys, are you ready to go?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure or yes?
Yes.
Okay. This is he said we have a new album coming out. All the songs today are from that new album. So if you like them, wait 2 days, and then they can be yours. Sing if you wanna sing, I don't. And praise if you wanna praise, I won't. See if you wanna see, I'll try. It's hard to see with a blind mind's eye. Never you mind, 'cause I always gave up. And I was inclined, but it's never enough. Speak, I don't. He puts a number on every song. Never you mind, 'cause I always gave up. And I was inclined, but it's never enough. And though you say what you need, well, I find your criticisms the opposite of wisdom. And though you say I'm sure it isn't anything more like a light than a being. The feeling's quite alone. I got hung up the phone. I'm glad you're doing a good thing, but the backlash must be frustrating. Never you mind, 'cause whatever is done, it's always met with opposition. And though you say what you need, well, I find your criticisms the opposite of wisdom. And though you say what you need, well, I'm sure it isn't anything more like a light than a being. Quite alone, I got hung up the phone. If you're only here for a little while, you can just drop off that arrogant smile. 'Cause when you bleed, please don't bleed next to me. I have a problem with the way these things are seen, and I've been self-described as a tiny man with a tiny life, but the little things get smaller and smaller every year. Every year, yes, the little things get smaller and smaller every year. Sing if you wanna sing, oh well. And do you think I'm going to hell? Never you mind, 'cause whatever is done, it's always met with opposition. And although you say what you need, well, I do the opposite of wisdom. And though you say what you need, well, I'm sure it isn't anything more like a life than a being. The feeling's quite alone, like God hung up the phone. You've been self-described as the ones who finally got my doctrine right. But the little things get more and more important every year. Every year, yes, the little things get more and more important every year. Thanks. Oh, man. Thank you, everybody. Those billions of you at home, thank you very much for watching and being here. It's getting hot in here, so I'm going to take off my sweatshirt. Okay. More people came in. Cool. Sorry, I like to let the moment land for a long time after I'm finished saying something before something else starts. So. There you are, fine, looking great in your new dress. Oh, how am I the man that you want to impress? Oh, I don't think that your face was built to frown. Using my last days to tie up the loose ends, I'd rather use my death as a form of revenge. Oh, if I died now, they would be so sorry for the ways they've emotionally scarred me. It's a mouthful, it's a mouthful, it's a mouthful. And for the first time I am feeling double. Although I'm faking the crime, oh, it kills my sense of time. The leader told me that the key to success is to be patient. Go ahead and try that third verse again, okay? Hope you guys don't mind. Never mind the crap that you get from a distance. I'm slow to speak, but I'm quick to defend her. I don't think I should be here, I'm not that pretty. She said as we entered Johnson City, well, it's a mouthful, it's a mouthful, it's a mouthful. And for the first time I'm feeling double. Although I'm faking the crime, oh, it kills my sense of time. Leader told me that the keys to success are to be brutal. And I learned the keys to failure. Trying to please everyone. No. Now it's the end. Thanks. I'm gonna let everyone in on a little bit of a secret. You guys at home too, or at work. There's lunch. Any place you might be. With you guys here in the studio, in the record store, your eyes want to watch Elizabeth. She's doing something interesting and everything. And our whole dynamic works is because I am desperately, like pathetically trying to get you to look at me the entire time. But your eyes keep wanting to go to, I'm sure that's split screen. I assume, is this the same side? We're not switched, are we? Am I? Okay. We're not like, she's behind me on the split screen. But that's our whole thing here is just me trying to distract you from what she's doing, which is just inherently more interesting because she's creating something and giving birth to a thing. Yeah. So anyway, that's just, I don't know. You know, I think that's more interesting to me than it is to you, judging by your faces right now. But still, everyone at home is probably laughing and smiling too. So this song is the title track from our new album called Death Anxiety. And I don't know if any of you have been to an open wake before, but I went to my grandmother's. It's the only one I've ever been to, and it stuck with me. All these songs too. I mean, the last two a little less so, but all the songs I'll be playing today and stuff the album's called Death Anxiety. It's all about death, but not in a sad way. Like, I want to stress that if you get depressed or something while listening to these songs, it's wrong. Like, that's the wrong way to interpret them. It's more just a curious kind of me trying to fight through some of my own beliefs or thoughts or things on the matter. But anyway, this next one is kind of sums up. It's a good sum up the theme of the album, and it sort of relates to my grandmother's funeral. So. Which was about 6 years ago, but I don't know, it stuck with me.
And if I don't drink, I don't trust you. And if I don't think, I don't mean to. And if I don't lie, I'm not living. And if I don't die, you'll forgive me. And if I don't see it, then I'm sorry. When asked if I knew, I said hardly. We all have differing opinions, yet we all think we have the right one. Myself that I will never die. Like I lead some extra special life. As if the billions who've gone before me don't count. With such high amounts, I still have my doubts. And I'm not sure I was made for children, but how will I know unless I raise one? I found I cannot make a baby. Is it better that way? Maybe. I saw my grandmother during her open wake. They put so much makeup on her face. As I stepped closer towards the woman that I knew, her life shone through. She was dead yet made anew. When it's scary, and I know I see him when I'm happy. I know I see him when I am angry, but it could just be my death anxiety. I still convince myself that I will never die, like I'm on some never-ending ride. As if the billions who've gone before me don't with such high amounts. I know how that Oh, I know how that sounds. Yes, I know how that Thank you. Thanks. We're going to do one more before a break. I
I assume everyone here is from Connecticut. I mean, now at least. I remember standing in this store either the day of or a day after the Sandy Hook tragedy happened. And I remember on that day, I don't know how anyone else reacted. I didn't know anyone involved in that. I didn't even know anyone who knew anyone involved in that I'm aware of. But because it was so, like, in Connecticut, and Connecticut's just small as anyway, I remember, like, I couldn't do anything. Like, it was just, it was so, I mean, for lack of a better word, shocking, I guess, that, like, I just remember being like, I can't, like, I need to work, but I couldn't do anything. And I felt the whole day I was just useless, because it was just like, it just shook me up, the horror of it. And I can't imagine what those who involved, who survived their children, what they must feel, and still feel, I'm sure, today and for many years to come. With all that being said, I don't know if I exactly have the right to write a song about the event, but I just, to me, the instances of grief that I've had I've had friends dying, by my grandmother, as I mentioned earlier, other situations in life where one can feel grief. It's such an interesting thing because it's so consuming to your mind, and it's also, though, I think you're more aware that you're alive during grief or sadness than of any other time. Like, when it's like happy and stuff, you're like always like, you know, feeling good and stuff. But like when you're sad, you're just so aware of the moment. You're so aware that you're alive, and life is just so, like, there. Like, you're more conscious of just your existence, I think, than almost any other feeling that you can feel. I said that there weren't many sad songs. The album wasn't supposed to be sad. This is sort of, I guess, more contemplative, but it's about that whole thing, I guess, from as best I could from thinking about what those parents might be feeling. Are you guys still with me on this? It kind of gets a little dark and stuff, but with this whole album and all this talk about death and stuff, I've been trying in my life, and this whole album and all these songs, encouraging others to try to, you know, when you want to face away from something like death, where it's all coming, and it's not fun to think about, but I've found that it seems to be rewarding when you face those things rather than run away from them, even though it's, like, hard. So anyway, here we go.
Police held him back with force. Couldn't calm himself down to believe. Tried to scream while drowned in tears. Never felt more alive than within this grief. I saw you an hour ago, and now your body has left your soul. The bullets stained those tiny clothes they didn't know. I saw you an hour ago, and now your school has fully closed. The least comforting thing is you're not alone. She said goodbye, but she had no thought that goodbye would be the last he got. Standing now, trying to wake up. your soul. The bullets stained those tiny clothes. They didn't know. I saw you an hour ago, and now your school has fully closed. The least comforting thing is you're not alone. We watched the news, it seemed so absurd. Half the room had had their mouths covered. We couldn't work, couldn't think or move. What possessed that man? What did he have to prove? I saw you an hour ago. Now your body has left your soul. The bullets stained those tiny clothes. They didn't know. I saw you an hour ago, and now your school has fully closed. The least comforting thing is you're not alone.
Thank you. As you're weeping into your sandwich at home, we'll be right back after these messages.
Join Steve, Elsie, and friends. Learn and pretend. We exploration through our nation, and the music never ends. With Steve, Elsie, and friends. Exploration. Music.
Discovery.
Fun.
Hey, this is Rick Coster. You're watching Live Lunch Break as we stream every Thursday at this time for theday.com. We're in the Telegraph record store in downtown New London, which has become sort of our temporary residency before we go to another planet, because it doesn't get any better than this. Thanks to Rich Martin, as always, Daphne, for hosting us. Today we have a special guest, and Pocket Vinyl we're split screen because this is the most interesting creative paradigm. Eric is over here providing the music, the pop songs, and Elizabeth is here painting in real time as this goes down. Now, when the show's over, the painting's over. That's right. That's fair. Do you ever have to look at your husband and sort of give him a signal because, like, take a few more solos because the painting's not done yet?
We're at the point now where he knows to ask me. He'll just like flat out be like, "Is it 2 songs okay?" And I'll be like, "No, at least 3," or something like that. So
you've never done like a 14 by 35 triptych or something that required playing all night?
no, but I'm thinking about doing something much larger for our Halloween show in 2 days at the Hygienic.
That's a nice segue because
Nice.
it was
Expertly done.
yeah, it was. It was, and in fact, Saturday night, right across the street at the Hygienic in the Hygienic Galleries, Pocket Vinyl will be celebrating the release of their brand new album. I happen to have a copy of it in my pocket, and Elizabeth and Eric know I didn't sit on it while they were playing. You couldn't see it off screen, but I wouldn't sit on it and break it. But this is Death Anxiety. It's available from the Telegraph Recording Company. And you guys are also sharing a stage Saturday night with Sam, right?
Yeah, Allison Jackson.
Allison Jackson from New Haven. They also have a new album out. And
We played a house show with them a few weeks ago.
Where was that?
It was really good. It was in Mansfield. Yeah.
who got to play first?
Huh?
Who got to play first?
We did.
It was like 4 or 5 bands.
It was a house.
There's several bands.
There's no headliner. It's all
But
If that's what you're getting at.
Well, what I'm getting at is because whoever plays last gets to hit the food while it's still fresh and stuff.
This place was a punk house. They didn't provide
Oh,
any food.
all right. I hate it when that happens.
They were all like most teenagers, mostly.
Eric, I want to ask you, being younger folks, you have a certain pianistic style that harkens back to me, both your stage maneuvering and even some of the playing, to people like Jerry Lee Lewis or Professor Longhair. Is that even in? Are you aware of those guys? Or?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm pretty sure if there's a pianist out there, I've been compared to him by someone in the past who like plays. I mean, it's like Jerry Lee Lewis, Elton John, Billy Joel, and the more popular one with the last 20 years is Ben Folds,
right.
Which is unavoidable, I think.
You know what? Regardless of what your thoughts might be on any of those particular artists, those are high compliments. The people that would say them are being complimentary.
Right. To me, though, I think the only reason that I'm being compared is because I play the piano, and not many people do.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't say if, I don't know, if someone was, like, here, like, playing acoustic guitar, you would be like, hey, guitar! Oh, like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, not really at all. Like, that's a completely different style. So, I mean, I definitely have been influenced by those guys in my younger days and stuff, too. But in my mind, I like to think that we're not as comparable music-wise. But that's simply my own narcissism of trying to carve our own.
No, you have a very distinct style. There's the songs and
my ego thanks you.
My ego was glad to do it. Now, because this is such an interesting dynamic, how did it? You guys, I guess it's fair to say you're husband and wife, right? They know that. So, how did this come about in terms of artistic? Did you say, well, Elizabeth, you're a painter. Unless you want to learn to play bass, or I want to learn to paint, we got to do this. So, how did it come about? How did it? Let's ask Elizabeth this.
That's exactly how it happened. We started dating. He was going to go on tour. I wanted to come. I can't play any instruments, so we decided to do this instead.
We just liked each other's faces and wanted to spend more time with each other, ultimately.
I would say that you're both very attractive people, so that's fair enough. Let me ask you this, though. When you first started, is it true that you let the song sort of decide where the painting would go? You were just going from that moment, or did you think it out ahead of time?
When we first started, I wouldn't let the songs decide, but I would let the moment decide, the venue or whatever happened during the day, and I would just kind of be more spontaneous with my paintings. But lately, I've been planning them out beforehand.
I would think you guys have done hundreds of shows now, so you sort of have to do that at a certain point, right?
Yeah, for sure. I found that I was doing kind of the same theme over and over again, and I wanted to experiment with new things.
It's just getting boring to you, right? Like that's what you were telling me. Like,
It was getting boring too. So, in other words, write some more songs, dude.
no,
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Just kidding.
this is hard.
It is
I'm
hard.
doing my best, guys.
You do a tremendous job. Let me explore this theme of this album that you eloquently talked about a little bit during the first set. But what have you learned about yourself, the therapy of writing these songs? Because contemplating finality or death, particularly of loved ones or friends, or as you say, a horrific tragedy, that's forcing yourself to dig fairly deep. And how have you come out of that?
Coming out of it isn't. I don't think that's. I don't
Come
know
out of the
what
process
can.
of recording those songs. Was it cathartic?
Oh man, I could take an hour to answer this. Yes.
Order some more lunch.
Yes, I would say so, but I would say it's still something like I'm not finished with writing songs about these topics. I don't think just because we put out an album about it. But it's definitely helped me put things into perspective. And I think the most valuable thing has been for me of like I'll play these songs and then after shows or something, someone will come up and be like, hey, I like, and then start talking with me about their experience with those things. And I think I've learned more from that than like my own, like trying to figure out lyrics or something. But that has been like just to be able to kind of get more perspectives under my belt of different people, how they deal with death, and all these tie in with if you haven't figured out with like kind of God and faith and stuff, which I think are things that regardless of what people believe, I think they're just things that are like beliefs I just find amazingly fascinating, and I just love talking to people about like whatever they believe, and so just kind of getting all those different perspectives from a bunch of people, I think it's just helped me kind of in a small way make sense of those things, but I'm still just as much in the dark as anyone else. And that a lot of this album it's more about questions than any type of answers, which I'm not qualified to give at all.
Well, the process of writing it is cool, and then the interaction is also part of the art with the people that listen to it.
Right? Yeah. No, and that's actually what I've been wanting to do. Like I when I hear people who I'm like, what do you think about death or afterlife or any of those things, and they're like, I don't really think about it. Like that fascinates me just as much that I'm like, how can you not?
How can
like,
you not? Exactly.
I don't. It consumes too much of my mind. That I don't know. The only problem is now because this is our third album, and now when I play older songs, which they just seem like they're more frivolous. Like they're just more like
that's
not important. And, like they're still fun and stuff, and I like playing them. But it's I've kind of dug myself into a hole in terms of performing them.
Yeah, I'm sure when they finished Pet Sounds, the Beach Boys probably thought, that car song wasn't that special, But now listen, what we haven't, you guys here in the Telegraph understand this, but in case you're watching, whenever they do a show and Elizabeth creates a painting, at the end of the show, they auction the painting off. So that's open to everyone in this room, I assume. Explain that process, and if there's anybody at home that wants to go on to the Pocket Vinyl website, do that too, right?
Yes.
Well, you can't bid on the website.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's strictly a special thing for people who come to the live show.
All right, so I screwed that up.
If you're like in the area and can get here in the next, I'd say 20 minutes or something, because you really like this painting, do that. But like,
okay, fair enough. Sorry if I
it's just
misled
simple.
anybody.
We're not a big corporation.
No, all right. So at the end of this, you'll auction this painting off to anyone that wants it. You start the bidding and all that. Do you talk real fast like auctioneers?
It's a silent auction, so people can write their name in the back and put down a bid while the show's going on.
Yeah. There's a paper on the...
And Rich Martin, the purveyor here at the Telegraph, is so eloquently like a game show person displaying... Okay, fair enough. All right, so we have Pocket Vinyl. We're going to ask these guys to do 3 more songs, which should allocate you enough time to finish what is a very intriguing painting. So, Pocket Vinyl.
All right, cool. Again, too, all these songs, and we're gonna play 3 more, and they're all on the new album. One time I fought off a murderous thought about someone I knew. Have you had the same, or am I insane? Is it called sin, that struggle within, the burden of free choice? The way I behave and the things I crave. I don't struggle to see potential black evil in my heart. Murderous speech is within my reach. Yes, there is good. Yes, there is love, and I try to let it lead. I feel evil's pull, not sure if it's equal. Don't you hate this horrible thing about how we can't always do good? Well, it annoys me, that break in the psyche. Why don't I stop? Why don't I give up? Why don't I collapse in hate? Fail all the time, but I yearn to keep trying. Can't be the only one. I cannot be the only one. I cannot be the only one. All right, thanks. That was actually the first time I've ever played the song live. So there's gonna be, you know what, I'm not gonna spoil it. We have other plans for that one. If you want to see how that evolves, come to a future show. All these songs too, and any records and stuff have all full band and everything. This next song is about the Salem witch trials. It doesn't have any words or anything. It's a little longer too, but it's got this big orchestra in it. So imagine it. Okay, that's the best I can tell you. But yeah, if you keep, I don't know how much you know about Salem witch trials and stuff, but it was quite a tragedy in history. And I worked in Salem, Massachusetts, reenacting witch trials as part of a tourist attraction for 2 summers in my younger days. And I wrote the song there. If you just it kind of, in my mind, changes perspectives from like the people who did the accusing to the witches themselves to the townspeople to the judges. And I don't know. If you just keep the whole situation in mind while you're listening, I think you'll get a lot out of the song. So. Thanks. Thank you. I know that one required more patience on your part, so thank you very much for allowing me to do that. Is one more is good? Okay. Yeah, see, I'm used to just ask, like, the time thing earlier. Oh, cool. All right, cool. So this is our last, again, these, my big motions and pounding and stuff is just trying to make up for the lack of all other instruments that are usually accompanying these songs on other things. And two, if any of you again are interested in coming to the Hygienic show Saturday night at 8, it's a Halloween party, so it's $7, but $5 if you have a costume. I will be dressing as Bob Ross, and Elizabeth has the secret of what she's dressing. But I'll give you a clue. It's a female, sort of. So, anyway, that show, though, is going to be full band. There's 2 guys who plays drum and bass, and we're going to just like play all the hard rocking songs and have a lot of fun. So if that interests you at all. Yeah, this next song, this last one, it's called Heaven, Hell, and Nihilism. And it's great if you accompany an orchestra in your head along with it. It's I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's like hope and faith, and sometimes people have them together, but I kind of separate them. And I feel like I have a lot of hope and stuff, and faith is just hard to grasp my fingers around when I really wish I could. But this song is about hope, I guess, in that sense. But just listen, guys, okay?
My worries attached to me like a tick. They're a wound in my mouth I can't help but lick. And no days are added unto my life when I consider all the things that bring me strife, or ponder the ways death could take my wife any minute. I feel so knee deep in it. Drew you in a loving picture. Panicked I erased, but the lines got thicker. I threw it away with the trash last fall, and in the spring it was somehow glued on my wall. And no fire gun, sword, catapult, or dagger, or spear could ever get that thing out of here. Certain shade of green that tells me it's alright. When it belts that everything's fleeting, the collective sound of the cows all eating the grass tells me that we'll be defeating our foes, and I'll make the first blow. We're greeted with a gigantic loving chorus that sings about how we won the war on apathy, and every single word is known upon their entry. And there'll be a phrase for this brand new thing where you can simultaneously laugh and sing, and there'll be a line that makes the vision so crystal clear, and we'll forget the definition of fear.
Cool. Thank you guys so much.
Excellent. Excellent. She hasn't signed the painting, but I believe Elizabeth is, it's done. Beautiful. This is, of course, pocket vinyl, Chris, Elizabeth. Those of you here in the Telegraph record store, you can bid right now on the painting back there. See Rich at the counter. Thank you guys so much for doing this. They'll be across the street in the Hygienic Gallery Saturday night as a Halloween party. It's a CD release party for their Death Anxiety album, and Ellison Jackson is also releasing an album. They'll be on hand too. Next week, we have Ann Castellano and The Smoke. Will be right here at noon on Thursday. I'm Rick Coster. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.